Alright guys, welcome to the first video of Becoming AI. To give you an overview, I got this idea from a guy named Daniel Baradas, I believe, where basically the overview is I'll spend a week each week just diving deeply into one subject, and then at the end of the week I'll give you guys a summary of what I learned, and this helps me solidify the information in my brain, and this will help you guys if you guys are going to take anything from it. But it's just going to be one take. I'm literally doing this in one take, so I'm going to make mistakes, whatever. So without further ado, let's become AI. So I started this on Tuesday, and yeah, so you can see I have a 45 to 90 minute deep learning block, and what it means, the story of the market. This is something I've been doing in regards to day trading, because I've been learning how to day trade, where I'll just show you guys. Every day I look at SPY, because the philosophy from Real Day Trading, the group that I'm in, the philosophy is that 75% of stocks follow SPY. So if we know how to understand the price movement of SPY, with all this stuff moving, I don't want to go on a tangent, but this is what it is. So, I spend every day about like 15 minutes doing it. Sometimes I time myself. Like 12 minutes. It's not seconds, it's minutes. But yeah, so that's when I find time to do this stuff, the deep learning blocks of, another subject. So that's what it means, integrate with story of the market. I do that first, then I do my learning block. So this week, this was my learning source. I called it upgrading my software, like my brain software, because if you guys haven't heard of this guy, this is Daniel Barada, and he just has a lot of philosophies about how to learn how to change your mind, whatever. You guys can check him out. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I don't think you guys could have seen my tab, but it's all good. So yeah, so this was Tuesday. I guess I didn't write down anything. Must have started on Wednesday. Yep. So yeah, so this one, how to become unrecognizable in 180 days. I think this one reminded me a lot of Atomic Habits. Here's what I do. His videos are very information dense, so I just type anything I kind of don't really understand, or I can come back to over notes, like identity overhaul, cognitive dissonance, whatever this means. So it's a lot of stuff, and then I'm gonna just go over the notes I took. So some of the first principles, the most important stuff I got from the video, was that your environment is important for your actions, and your environment includes anything that you sense. So that's people, the media you consume, things you smell, things you hear. That's why wearing headphones when you're working is important. Set your environment around, align your environment with what you want to do, and that's the first step, and that's the most important part. He talks about environment a lot. This was his most popular video too, by the way, so I just clicked on it. So yeah, he talks about presentation. So the way you present yourself, with a good posture, with a smile, with a physique. All those things are important because the way people think about you is almost as important as what you think about yourself. That's just how life works. People are shallow. People will, first looks matter. He talks about consistency. So to achieve what you want to do, it's about, sometimes you won't be able to give 100%. You'll have to give 70% at 100%. And if you can do that consistently, then that beats home runs every time. You do that over a long course of time. Yeah, give 70%. Here or there, and just try to give it your all. It'll work out. Dive deeply into things with intensity. Just kind of basically never do anything half-assed. That sucks. Don't do that. A lot of the principles from Atomic Habits. Another good thing that I do is I ask how it goes against my current assumptions. So I knew a lot of this, but sometimes I don't know, if I should work intensely or rest. But the way I like to just think of it as a little mental model is do everything 100%. So if I'm going to rest completely. Don't think about work. Don't think about whatever. And if I'm going to work hard. Try not to get off track. And then the reflection block, this is where I, connect it to like my main goals. So I want to be a successful day trader. I want to be a national champion wrestling, and I want to improve the relationships in my life. So, when I watch this video, I connect it to these things, and this will happen to every deep learning block. So whether it's, by the way, the deep learning blocks are going to be random each week. It could be something like, I don't know, like swimming. You identify the first principles, current assumptions, new things, and everything you learn to connect it to the lattice work of the mental models in your mind. This is how you do it. You with reflection, and then create. So you create something. So yeah, self-imposed time limits, all that good stuff. Okay, next video. So you guys already know what's going on now. So the first principles is that. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So this was a video about manifestation. So this is about how we have two sides. Like everything has two sides. And the main part of that is bringing awareness to something. So if you have a negative mindset, first of all, you have to bring awareness that you have a negative mindset. Some people just don't know why they're upset. Bring awareness to that, and it's already halfway gone. And then being able to flip it into a positive mindset. So everything has an opposite. Anxiety, the opposite of anxiety is confidence. So if you're able to realize that you're anxious, then you can realize that the opposite of anxiety is confidence. And of course, he explains it a lot better, but that's just like what he kind of was saying. So inversion equals control. Like if you're able to just like flip your emotions like that, just think about flipping them, then it'll come naturally. Like you'll just know. Bringing awareness is some of the most important parts. And just like I said, I link it to how I approach these big main things, psychology, wrestling, and yeah, this was like a script I kind of made. Oh, and also express gratitude. I've been trying to express gratitude every day right after practice. So I'll just literally lay down on my bed and do like a 10-minute Spotify of just gratitude. I'll go over the things that I'm grateful for. I look back on how far I've came and where I'm at now, and that definitely helps. Just keeping the momentum, pushing forward. Friday was about gaslighting yourself into a new reality. So this one was a lot about beliefs. So yeah, like your beliefs shape your outcomes. And what I liked about his video is that, yeah, like, everyone knows that your beliefs shape your outcomes, right? Like, everyone hears that stuff. But, when he explains it in depth, like, he explains the mechanics of it, bring awareness to the beliefs. Like, he has a lot of recurring themes. Awareness, awareness. Being aware is, like, the first step of everything, And remove beliefs that hurt you and, take votes for beliefs that don't hurt you. So and it ends up being a feedback loop. So it's hard to start, but the thing is, you just gotta keep going, and it snowballs. So yeah, positive beliefs are so important for life. Like if you have a negative outlook on life, it's gonna be so much harder. You're gonna be fighting a losing battle to try to achieve your goals. So beliefs. Of course, this it impacts day trading, your sport, relationships in life. Like positive beliefs, 100%. And I've already seen this places, so it's a pretty good idea. He recommended doing a belief audit, so I did that at the end. And then the last one for this week was the energy paradox, which is the fastest way to limited energy. I thought it was a good title, so I just decided to click on it. And yeah, this one was about cognitive inertia, is saying that the hardest thing to do is starting, and the momentum will carry itself. Yep, very true. The energy paradox says that sometimes I'll be too tired to do something, but that thing is the thing that will give me energy, so it's a negative feedback loop. If I'm too tired to go to the gym, for example, that's the thing that is going to give me energy. So sometimes you just have to go to the gym and get the energy, and then it's a positive feedback loop. You'll get energy from that. You'll want to do it more. Beware, awareness, right? We talked about that, of physical energy traps. So just eating sweets for energy, that's going to cause you to crash. you know, momentum is so important to doing anything. You know, start small, you know, and then it grows. Daily systems, just setting your systems, your environment. He talked about environment, and the other one, reduce cognitive bandwidth. You know, as long as you have daily habits. This reminds me of a lot of, you know, Atomic Habits and learnings of that. But you know, right? I already knew this, but you know, like he just talks more in depth and notes, and you know, being able to reflect on it and have like a system. This is the most important part. Like, yeah, like we all know the books and the self-help books and stuff, but reflection and creation is so important. So thanks guys for watching my videos. I'm gonna do this for 52 weeks. It's gonna be a 52-week challenge, and we'll see, you know, how much I've improved and you know how much knowledge I've accumulated. Drop in the comments any ideas that you want me to deep dive on. I'll do it. Thank you.